What a terrible way to start the new year.
Yeah.
At 3 a.m. in New Orleans, a terrorist attack. And you have heard me talk about New Orleans. New Orleans is, I would venture to say, my favorite city in the world.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. It's an interesting city for those that have never been. Is that a fair way to put it? It's unique to anything else in the United States.
It is. And the French Quarter is such a cool vibe. It's creepy because of the ghosts and the history. And there's all, you go into any place on Royal Street or at Bourbon, there is always, you walk in, there's always a ghost story.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Okay.
It's a cool vibe. I like the history of it. I love the food. I love the people. I love the people watching. And so when I heard that New Orleans got hit, I mean, I just, put it this way. We have this crew that we kind of travel around the world, right?
Yeah.
It's like 5 different couples.
Okay.
And so, each one who has like a milestone birthday picks where they want to go.
They get to pick where they're going to celebrate their birthday.
We all go with them.
And you're like, yeah, we're in.
Well, my 49 plus 1.
Whatever that was in there.
I picked New Orleans.
You picked New Orleans.
And we went to New Orleans and we went over Halloween, which is a freak show.
Time. That is a full-blown freak show.
Yeah. And so we went over Halloween. This was last year.
Yeah.
And then we went for our son's 30th birthday. He had never been. And we said, what about going to New Orleans? And he goes, yeah, let's go. So we met him there a few months ago.
Well, and it's a city, I would say the only thing you can compare it to is Vegas from this standpoint.
I don't think it's Vegas, but go ahead.
You can drink on the streets.
Yes, you can.
And it draws people from all over the world. It is a complete melting pot. And there's a party going on 365 days a year in New Orleans.
And characters everywhere.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I would compare it to Vegas in that sense. That there's always, you don't have to go, Mardi Gras is nuts, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be there during Mardi Gras for Bourbon Street to be completely off the chain.
Jazz music on the streets. Yeah. The vibe is incredible if you've never been there. So it just hurt my heart. Because it's a place that I love. And we when I talk about Bourbon Street, I'm not going to Bourbon Street at night. I'm too old, and I don't want to deal with the garbage.
Okay, you're too old.
I don't want to deal with people scatabooing all over me.
Oh, they're going to scataboo everywhere.
But during the day, super fun. Yeah. And that's when a guy like me and my wife and our friends would go. It's way less nuts, but it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And then you can go to Royal, so much fun. And, people were just trying to ring in a new year.
Right.
And all of a sudden, they've got a car barreling towards them.
Horrendous.
And
you wonder what can be done to stop things like this. Here's what we know, and I don't think we're telling you anything that you guys haven't already heard. The suspect terrorist, former military.
Yeah, born in America.
Beaumont, Texan. Right. Served in the military for quite some time. By the way, he didn't do like 4 and out. He was in for almost a dozen years. 42 years old. Apparently became radicalized in some way, shape, or form about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And left a trail. I mean, this isn't like Scotland Yard needs to be called in. He did videos. He left stuff behind kind of saying, here's what I was thinking. I thought one of the bizarre things was he left a video saying he was going to kill his friends and family.
Yeah, that's not enough people. He wanted to kill more people.
He said
that's what ISIS is all about.
It wouldn't send the right message. He was worried that the narrative, the media narrative, would be that it was a domestic incident. He didn't want it to be seen that way. He wanted it to be known this was, in his words, believers against the non-believers.
Yeah. The way that he committed the terrorist attack with a vehicle. And this has ISIS written all over it.
Oh, sure.
So
low tech, very cheap, I guess you would say, easy to do in that sense.
So I went back and looked at some of the ISIS vehicle attacks because I think this is the new thing. Let's see. France, 2016. Vehicle, 86 people killed.
Oh, my God. I remember. That was that like a box truck. Remember that?
Yep.
Oh, my God. That was horrible.
Berlin, 2016.
Yep.
We had let's see. Remember the Christmas parade in Wisconsin in 2023?
Yeah, I was in Chicago.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Towards the end of last year, 2024, there was a car used to kill people in Germany.
Yep.
And so this is something we're seeing. Also,
well, I guess the question is, how do you defend against it?
Okay, so why don't we go down that road? Because speaking of roads, I know, I've walked that from Canal Street, right to where Bourbon Street is. I've been there dozens of times.
Yeah, you've got the beads to prove it.
I don't go to Mardi Gras because I think it's too nuts. But,
okay.
So listen, they had the ballards don't work.
Bollards. These are these
ballards or bollards?
Bollards with an O.
Yeah, comes up.
They're little. You see them around military bases. It tries to prevent a car from getting onto a sidewalk or where people are.
Right.
It can look a variety of different ways. Some are movable. Some are permanent.
Right. So those weren't working. So what the New Orleans Police Department did was park just a regular police car in front of that intersection.
And if you watch the video,
it's so easy. Pulled right around it.
He literally did this in front of a police car, a New Orleans City police car.
Yeah. Here's the deal.
Yeah.
If you put a police car there,
yeah,
what does it do? It basically, if I'm trying to make a right there, it stops me.
Mm-hmm.
It stops the law-abiding person.
Right.
It doesn't stop a bad guy.
Well, and that's
the problem.
Right. And listen, I'm not saying this out of glee. I don't know how you stop things like this, because also after this terrorist mowed down these people on the sidewalk, he jumped out of the truck and started shooting.
Right.
Like, he could have just started shooting if he didn't have the car. He could have just walked right down Bourbon Street and opened fire, and there were thousands of targets there.
New Orleans has like these 2-ton trucks. They easily could have put one right there, and this guy would not have gotten through. But back to your point, he could have crashed into the 2-ton truck, got out, and shot a whole people on Canal Street.
Until the police shot him and killed him, as they did.
I guess it's a bigger deal if you go on Bourbon Street and you mow people down. It's much more ruthless and horrific.
So I'm going to push back.
They could have done a better job.
Here's my only concern about the idea that you can somehow car or truck proof anywhere but pedestrians are.
Not anywhere, just Bourbon Street they could have put it.
But on Bourbon Street, people cross the street.
Yes.
You don't have to drive down the sidewalk. You could wait till the traffic light changes and there are hundreds of people in the middle of an intersection. Do you see what I'm saying? I think the problem is where there's a will, there's a way. If you're there to commit harm and you don't care what happens to yourself, that's really hard to defend against.
Like if you go up one street to Royal, okay, there are cars that are parked on both sides of the road.
Yeah.
And there are cars that drive on that road.
Correct.
Okay. Now you go back down one block to Bourbon Street.
Just one block where
there are cars parked on the road.
They don't let cars park on the road there.
No, it's a totally different thing. And from what I remember, there aren't cars in the middle of the road. There aren't cars that are rolling through Bourbon Street.
Right.
And so that's like a no driving area.
Correct.
Okay. So if you're making it a no driving area.
People are wandering in the street there.
Exactly. You got to put up a better blockage. They didn't do it.
Thanks for watching Outspoken with Bruce and Gaydos. Tap to watch more from KTAR News and click the button in the middle to subscribe.